Have you ever been just doing something normal like washing the dishes and then an idea comes to you? Well, that's kind of what happened to me today, and so I decided to do this even though I don't normally like to talk into the camera and I feel really awkward about it, but I'm going to try this anyway. So I had this idea as I was washing my dishes, and it was just that we as humans are walking through this timeline, this kind of time-space line that we're in right now. And as we're turned on to our own, awareness of what's actually going on and who we are, and that we have these abilities that have sort of been tampered with or dumbed down or stamped down, and now we're coming into them. And the more that we come into these, the more our colors start to appear, and our colors are actually shifting the timeline from this black and white dystopian kind of thing into a very colorful, multi-dimensional type of existence. And I know there's better words for this, and I probably should get some help with it instead of trying to just express it in the moment. But sometimes it just comes to you and you want to talk about it, and this is one of those times. So I just feel like each one of us, as our colors are turned on in our auras, in our I know this is kind of woo-woo, and if you're not into that, sorry, but this is just the way I talk. Okay, so anyway, as we come into our colors, we change the timeline. We shift it into a more colorful, vivid, bright timeline, which is the way I see everything anyway. I was kind of born this way. Like, I don't know. I see colors very vivid and bright, and I see reality in a very, I guess maybe I have a lot of high serotonin levels or high dopamine levels or something, but everything is just very beautiful and bright around me, and I always seem to see the bright, beautiful things instead of, not that I don't see the things that most people consider ugly, but even when I see those, I find beauty in them somehow. So anyway, the point is that as this starts to happen to more of us and we start to come into this, we are actually changing and shifting the timeline into a higher vibrational and a multi-dimensional timeline that includes the higher realms as well as the lower ones, because we still will have those as well, but we'll also have more of the higher vibes and higher dimensionals. So more of the celestial realms is what I guess I would say. And I feel like we're coming into that as we walk through each day, each moment, each second, and recognize the beauty around us. So it's shifting, and that's what I'm seeing, and that's what I was kind of being shown as I was washing the dishes this morning, and I just wanted to share it with you. Also, just go into how I write. I mean, sometimes I write about, a lot of really scientific things, and sometimes I write about things that are very spiritual, and I like to blend them because I feel like they belong together and that they should be integrated. And that's what I'm trying to do with a lot of my podcasts. So when you listen to them and you see that, you'll probably feel that as well. And when I write my songs, those kind of come from what I call the ethers, the ether field, the energy field around us. And some people are scared of it when they write. They think, oh, this is weird. I don't know where these songs are coming from. What if they're coming from some weird place or dark entity or whatever? It's only where you are. Where are you at in the moment? What are you feeling? Are you feeling dark? Are you feeling, connected to some darker things? And that's what's going to come through. If you're connected to some higher, happier things, that's what's going to come through. And there's nothing wrong with either one, because you're just expressing a part of who you are and what you're experiencing in the moment. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I don't feel like everybody should always be, happy all the time, and, everything isn't always light. There's got to be a balance of both, and you've got to be able to express both in the moment and in what you're feeling. So that's what I try to do. At one time there was a lot more dark in my life, and I was expressing that, and I was actually in a goth band, believe it or not, and I would sing these really, really guttural kind of screams, sounds would come out of me. I needed to get that out. It was my way of kind of exercising those demons that I don't feel like I had them, but there was darkness around me that I needed to expel. It was like doing a detox. It was really important to do that. So I detoxed all of that and got it out. And I encourage anybody that if that's what you're doing, keep doing it, because it's important. You need to be able to get that shit out, or it turns into other things like cancer or, health issues. So you do really need to do that. Just my 2 cents. I'm not telling anybody what to do. But it helped me, is what I'm saying. And so now I do more light. I'm more about the light, because I've come through that shadow period, and now I'm walking in more of a light area, a light body that's around a lot of beautiful colors and things, and that's what I'm seeing. And that's fine, and that's where I am now, and I'm not putting anyone down who isn't. We all have to go through our own processes and do what we do. So anyway, so my songs right now are more about that, and that's what I've been writing. But when I write, it comes from, I feel like, the ethers, and it comes through. It's like everybody who writes, if you're a songwriter, and probably the more successful ones, if you meditate, that I feel like it helps. Like the people who were the most prolific songwriters really did that. They meditated, and I feel like they opened their channel or whatever. You open this little, it's like a little satellite dish on the top of your head, and it's like pulling out songs. And Tom Petty once said that he was scared of how the songs just came to him. He was afraid of it, like it was weird to him, and he didn't understand it. But maybe what he didn't understand was that he was an open channel. He meditated every day. Oh, I don't know about every day, but I don't know him personally. But he used to meditate. He said he meditated, and so I'm thinking, well, when he did, he probably kept himself open for receiving those songs, and that's how it works. And same thing with Paul McCartney. He's a prolific songwriter, and he also meditates. I don't know if John did, but George Harrison definitely did. So you could see how they received their music that way, and I feel like that helps. I don't sit cross-legged and meditate. I do sit cross-legged all the time, but I don't sit here. I used to think that's how you meditate, like you had to sit cross-legged and close your eyes and not think of anything, and that doesn't work for me. For receiving things, like it doesn't. No, but I mean, I'm not saying for people who do that and it works for you, awesome, because everybody's different. For me, it never really worked like that. I receive it from walking in nature, silently walking in nature, just walking around through the woods, and I just start receiving things like crazy when I'm doing that. So that's my form of meditation. Everybody has their own. So I don't really, tell anybody how to meditate. But so anyway, that's how I receive a lot of my songs, is just being out and about, seeing things, having my eyes open and tuned into things. Even in the Matrix, things come through. You'll see a sequence of events, and they'll unfold, and you'll be like, whoa, that would make a great song. So anyway, there's so many different ways to write, and anybody who writes, I just really encourage you to keep doing it and keep sharing it with the world, because we need more creativity in this world, and I think it's great, wonderful. Thank you for listening. I know I've been just rambling on, but I wanted to get these ideas out to you in a very stream of consciousness flow, organic way today, instead of writing it down like I normally do and sharing it in a podcast with music in the background, and sorry, losing my voice. And I like that too, and the pretty little movies that I put in there. But sometimes I just want to do it this way. Maybe I don't know. I don't know if this is good. Maybe I'm rambling too much, but it is what it is. Anyway, thank you for listening, and have a wonderful